Hi, Shine Sparklers. It's Lucy of ShineSparkL Marketing Education back with another video. And the videos that I have chosen to do are videos that have extra commentary on the blog posts I've already written. Uh, ShineSparkL has been around since 2018, and I have written a ton of blog posts on different topics that relate to marketing education for photographers. And I always have something more to say. So instead of just, writing more on the same topic, I decided to make some videos. Some people like to consume their information in a more um, audible way, let's say. And so you can watch this video for some added information, and then you can go and read the blog post if you'd like. Or maybe you have found you've found the video on the blog post and then click to find out a little bit more about the topic. Anyhow, today I'm going to be talking about uh, this prices on the website. Who are they really for? Now, um, there is a lot of discussion around this topic. I see posts almost daily saying, should I put my prices on the website? Should I put all of my prices on the website? And um, the overwhelming response to all of these posts. There's at least one, but usually there's many more. And it is, yes, I put all of my prices on my website because I want to weed out price shoppers. Now, for me, the only thing I should be weeding is my garden, and I'm not a good gardener. And in fact, we shouldn't be weeding our gardens. You have that kind of that paper, or you could do it with newspaper. We want to prevent weeds from actually growing in our garden, right? Instead of having to weed. And that's sort of the same principle that we want to look at when it comes to our website, is that we don't really want to weed anybody, but really what it comes down to is asking yourself who you're serving and how they would like their information served to them. So I'm going to go through here, and then this video will be added to this blog post. But when I talk about who prices are for on the website, it's not for the price shopper. Um, I don't know why everything else on your website seems to be made for your ideal client, but when we start talking about pricing, it's always for weeding the price shopper. And for me, it's like it makes no sense to all of a sudden start thinking about somebody else, having someone else in mind when designing a piece of your website. So let's go to my website. So I'm a wedding and family photographer in Montreal, Canada. So if you look here, my website is very similar to many of your websites. And usually we start out with either one or a scrolling set of uh, hero images, let's say. So why did I choose this image? Who did I choose, or this one, because they're scrolling? Who did I choose these images for? I did not pick them for a price shopper. I picked them for my ideal client. So I took time to think about what photograph will represent me, or what set of photographs will represent me on this hero section, because it's the very first section that somebody's going to come to land on when they hit my URL. And so I want these images to be very representative of the kind of work that I do for the client that I want to work with. So I'm holding my ideal client in my imagination, and I'm thinking, what would they respond to instantly? Now, they may love a lot of my work, if not all of it. But in these few precious seconds, when somebody lands on your website, you want to make sure that you're really capturing their attention with something that's very relevant to them. So this one's cute, the little kitty. I'm a little bit non-traditional, so I picked this image because it is a little bit non-traditional. And all of the images that I picked in this scroll are images that I really wish to attract my ideal client with. Then here, as we scroll down, I'm talking to my ideal client, who I am, a Montreal wedding and family photographer. The next line here is I'm tradition breaking and joy seeking. And I'm telling them that they want photography as unique as their footprint on this earth. So I'm reflecting their thoughts that they are looking for something unique. I am talking to them. I'm not talking to anybody else, not a price shopper, right? There was no price shopper in my head when I was designing this, only the person I wanted to talk to. So my client avatar has a name. Her name is Estelle. And I am speaking to Estelle here. And Estelle embodies the qualities of an ideal client for me when it comes to, let's say, sorry, not wedding, but family photography. So I'm speaking to Estelle, and then I'm also speaking to my wedding client. I don't think I have a name for her. But anyhow, I keep going. Testimonials. Again, I'm talking to my ideal client because I am telling them what another ideal client said about me. And that is social proof. And it assures them that they're in the right place. And other people have used me that are similar to them, also like my work. And they get more validation for making a decision to work with me. I talk a little bit about who I am. Again, I'm talking to my ideal client. What am I going to do for them? And why can I do it better than other people? So here is where I do that. A little bit about me. I have a manifesto. So this is more about me, but hopefully it resonates with them, right? And again, it's all for them. So if I go to my wedding portfolio area, so again, the hero image on my wedding section is chosen for my ideal client to show the kind of work that I can do for them. Everything I say on this page is to talk to them. So why might I be the best wedding photographer for you? I talk about all these things, speaking directly to that person. So I keep going, engagements, more testimonials, awards. And then here, I put it in a very small section, right? Lucy Baum's all-inclusive collections start at $31.50 for half-day coverage. And that's all I say. My clients typically spend more than that because they usually do more than a half-day coverage. I'm usually at around the 9-10 hour mark with an engagement session. But I'm starting at $31.50, and notice that I'm starting with my half-day coverage. I'm not starting with the intimate collection. I'm talking here that I'm saying an intimate collection for tiny weddings is available, but it's a much smaller number. So I want to anchor them on a number that's sort of average. So the half-day coverage is the average for me, and I don't want to display a number like 1,500 for my tiny wedding package or something like that. I don't want to put that there because it feels too small for me. And I find that it can mix expectations a little bit. When people see 1,500, they don't realize it's for a very small number of hours. So the 31.50 for the 6 hours is the average, and that's where I want to anchor my clients. And if you notice, this whole page was for my client. And so this section is also for that same person. So I've made up two characters. Let me talk about that a little bit. I made up two people. One of them, she is Miss Millie, and that is short for Miss Millionaire. And Miss Minnie, who is not a millionaire. She's a cheaponaire, I guess you could say, mini price. So if I'm designing my website for Miss Millie, let's say, so Miss Millie has the money to invest in photography services, and she's come and looked at my website. So she's getting married and she's looking at this and she's saying, "Oh, I like the work. This picture is really great. I love it. I give a description of what kind of weddings I do, a little bit of the style, your second yes after the I do. I talk to them about what my job is and what their job is, which is just to be on cloud nine. Why might I be the best photographer for Miss Millie? So Miss Millie is looking at this. She's scrolling through. She's getting more information, probably getting more excited, saying, this might be a good fit for me. Um, a little bit of portfolio uh, photos, a little bit about engagement. So I'm talking to Miss Millie here all the way through. And then I get to this point. I'm not talking to Miss Minnie over here under my amazing days. Usually, some people have a separate investment page. I don't, only because I offer two genres. So instead of having a pricing page that has like split between weddings and family, I typically do, weddings is one section, families is another section, and I have like a similar setup for that. Then if we go to my contact page, so I've got two forms to fill in. I experimented with one and I found it to be a little bit difficult. So I switched to two because I ask many more questions in my form for weddings. But if you notice, I put my starting point here as well. And I put my starting point here for family. And so I'm putting it in two places. But who is filling out this contact form? It's Miss Millie. It is not Miss Minnie going here. So even if you have an investment page, it's not Miss Minnie that you should be speaking to. So we often make this mistake when we're thinking about how to put prices on. We're not really thinking actually about who it is that's consuming this information. Um, we're thinking about what we should do. And we need to get out of this mindset because our website is not for us. It is for our client. And if you would like Miss Millie to be your client and you would like her to come here to your website and make an informed decision, then you have to speak to her all the way through. And you might say that if, you put in information for all of your pricing, it'll do the same thing. It will attract Miss Millie and it will repel Miss Minnie. But there is a fundamental issue there. So, for example, the way that you weed out Miss Minnie is not the same way as you would present information to Miss Millie. Let me explain. So, you go to an investment page. So, okay, let's back up here a little bit. So, Miss Millie has gone through my wedding page here, right? So she's building an experience with me. She's seeing my work. She's hearing things that she wants to hear. Now she wants to know what it costs, right? So one step beyond what I'm building here is to let her know what her investment will be with me. And I've answered it. At the bottom of the page, I tell Miss Millie, hold on, here I am. I tell Miss Millie what she can expect as a starting coverage, and then she can reach out for more. She doesn't need to know all of the coverage because she's just trying to make a decision whether or not to contact me at this point, right? So she saw my hero images, she saw some portfolio images, she heard some testimonials, she learned my reasons for thinking that I may be a good fit with her. And now she wants to know how much it will cost her. So imagine that you are designing your investment page and you flip the script and you start thinking about a price shopper and you're thinking, well, I need to make sure that no price shopper ever contacts me again. So you're thinking about that price shopper. And so inadvertently, you have the wrong person in mind when designing your website. So if Miss Millie appreciates just having an anchor price, so then she can say, yeah, this is kind of within my budget and I love everything else. So I'm going to reach out to Lucy and find out more about working with her. But what if Miss Millie gets to an investment page that I've designed to repel or weed out a price shopper? I may have put all sorts of other things there that don't make sense to her. Too many prices. Um, the way that it's presented, like it doesn't match the clean way that I've presented my website. So here, my wedding page tries to be very aspirational, right? Um, I'm trying to build an excitement and enthusiasm about wedding photography, and then Miss Millie is like, yes, go to investment. And then investment has like 20 different price points, um, prints and digitals, and you say there's more taxes on top of that, or what have you. She might get confused and be like, wow, there's a lot of information here. And it just broke my magic. Um, so the way that I've presented the information in order to weed that price shopper is the kind of way that would repel my Miss Millie client. And that is the fundamental error that I see being made, is that everything on our website is being done for our ideal client. And then we break out of that in order to talk to the price shopper for some reason. We should never be talking to a price shopper, ever, ever, ever. If you design everything, and I mean everything, to the person or persons that you want to attract into your business, then the price shopper will fall away. They won't feel welcome. They won't feel hospitable in your environment, because when you're talking so hard and so well, it's so targeted, it's so meaningful to the one person that you're speaking to. Another person doesn't see themselves reflected in that, and they'll naturally fall away. And maybe we get to the same place at the end of the day. But you could have turned off your ideal client by presenting information to repel somebody else. And that's the danger of this whole thing. So this is why I never recommend thinking or acting with price shoppers in mind ever, at all, when it comes to anything in your business. So laser focus on who it is that you want to be speaking to. So again, like I named my avatar for my family. I have an avatar for my wedding, but I haven't named her. But names help because they can help you imagine a person and then speak to her all the way through. It's like when you're walking into a shopping experience. So I walk into some department store that I love, or some makeup store that I love. And I walk in, everything's there is for me. It's not for a price shopper. The price shopper probably won't come in because even the branding of the store that I've walked into will anchor on a certain level, and they will not feel welcome there. Um, they'll already feel that it's out of their price range. And I've had that happen to me too. There's some stores I don't walk into because I already feel they're out of my price range, right? And I'm sure you have felt that too. And that's because they are speaking to their ideal in everything they do, in their signage out front, in the branding before you even got to the store. But say you're just walking down the street, downtown, down a strip, and you see that store, their window branding and signage and, all those flavors will communicate to you whether or not you are part of their tribe. And that's what you want to do. So you don't walk into a makeup store and then have them serving anybody else but you. No price shoppers, so they don't keep anybody else in mind when designing that. So all that to say is that it's a subtlety, but what you hold in your mind is very important because it sets the tone for everything that you do. And you don't ever want to break the tone with your ideal client to be like, how do I weed out a price shopper? So my advice is to leave the weeds to the garden and grow your garden of clients instead. Yes, I know, bad pun, but it will serve you better if you hold that client in your design and in your pricing page as well, because they want to know what price to pay for the service that they want with you. And they do want you, right? Because you've attracted them. All right. So if you want more on this, go to the blog post. And in the meantime, thank you for watching. And I will stop recording and I'll see you next time.